Benoit, I will start with you. This is kind of a mess. What went wrong here? Why were the newspapers first advocating for this and then they changed their mind?
Well, I think actually nothing has really changed. What the newspapers have always looked for is a fair deal from Google and from the Google services. Now, the background to the law, as you correctly say, was that the publishers felt that they wouldn't get a fair deal for very valuable journalism services that they're providing. And you know, a lot of journalists go to a huge amount of work to prepare their articles, and they felt that Google is benefiting from the use of their service, and that this should be reflected in an appropriate copyright law. So the labelling of it as some sort of Google tax is a total misnomer. What is happening here, in the same way as if I wrote a book, I would hope one day that somebody may pay for it, the publishers were looking for a fair deal on their payment. Now, what has taken place rather extraordinarily is Google has refused to even come to the table to negotiate on what price it is willing to pay. It has claimed that it would simply make no money out of the Google News service, and it has walked away, cutting off these publishers completely from the internet and the global media market.
Let's take a listen to Google's position. They've said Google News is a service many users love, which creates real value for publishers. The new law requires publishers to charge Google News for showing even the smallest snippets of their content, whether they want to charge or not. As Google News itself shows no ads and makes no revenue, this approach is simply unsustainable. So Google's saying, hey, we don't make any money off Google News. Adam, you've done some research as to how important Google News actually is to these Spanish publications. What have you found? How much traffic does Google News really drive to Spanish media?
Yeah, absolutely. For any news publisher, search engine traffic, and specifically news search traffic from Google News is still a tremendous opportunity in terms of visibility, overall traffic. You know, we'll see on average anywhere from 20 to 40% of a news site's total traffic coming from search. And then within that, you know, it's a good 15, sometimes 20% or more of that search traffic is coming specifically from Google News. Now, in Spain, the numbers tend to be a little bit smaller, just smaller market, not as big of an audience. But those Spanish publishers, you know, sites in, say, the top 10, 11 Comscore ratings for news sites in Spain, you know, they're looking at 5, 10, some close to 15% of their search traffic coming from Google News.
Benoit, what are the implications of this happening in Spain to something similar happening with Google in other countries? I understand that there's been a similar situation going on in Germany. Is a precedent being set here?
Well, I think actually it's a sense of deja vu to over here, because in Germany we had a very similar situation where the publishers obtained an act from the German parliament, again entitling them to copyright. Now, the difference between the German Act and the Spanish Act, from what I can see, is that the German Act did not actually require payment, that there was an option for the content holders to basically provide their content for free, which is not available as under the Spanish law, as I understand it. But again, when it actually push came to shove, the German publishers, after trying to get paid for their valuable journalistic content, were rebuffed by Google and told, if you do not follow the Google way, you will be cut off. And the result was that last October and November, all the German publishers fell into line and caved into Google's demands, although reluctantly, because they saw, they feared what may happen if they did not comply. And what we are seeing is happening is now the situation in Spain.